I'm saying that right? Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? I'm obviously.
No, Emil is right.
Uh, uh, Thanks for talking with me
You're
uh,
welcome.
on what will probably be another episode of the Unicast. And I would like
Mhm.
to say thank you to all the people on the internet, by the way, who let me know all the problems and errors with my last episode. As I've been telling Emil here, I am a total idiot when it comes to this stuff, and I've just been using the pandemic to figure out how to do something else with my life. Uh, so here we are recording this podcast, trying to make more unicycle content. I also appreciate the shout outs from you guys on your episodes of your podcasts, unicycle news and stuff.
So what's up?
And then I also heard some good bits from Ed Hawks' podcast, the Unicycle Life podcast.
Hmm.
So I think it's good. I think it's good that we're going to be all having more conversations and recordings about everything that's going on.
Definitely.
Uh, any unicycle content you're looking forward to in the pandemic?
Well, currently I'm just really excited about Skirt the Game. That's something I've talked about as well on every single episodes I've recorded, which is now going to be 3 and 4 later today.
Yeah,
Yeah, Skirt the Game is just very fun, right? And I feel like almost feel like unicycle news and stuff is becoming a like just it's sponsored by Skirt because I feel like I keep plugging it, but it's very nice. I love it. We
well,
have like the beginner games, the intermediate games, and the expert games, and it's just nuts to see that much content being posted after like a drought of months of nothing
of
except like
nothing.
Mimo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mimo posting the only videos like
yeah,
all
right.
year long.
Mimo's like the only person who was posting,
Pi-
and Pierre as well. Pierre is always
yeah, I'm
posting stuff.
Pierre. Pierre posts
Yeah,
constantly, and his content
yeah.
is like so good. Like,
Mm.
I just rode as hard as I could in that first advanced game for Skirt, and I landed, two tricks I'd never landed before. I landed the double backflip. Maybe that sounds silly, but I'd never landed it before. And I landed. I think I was the only person in the advanced set to land the full out double flip, which was the trick that practically made me cry. And I thought I was going to be able to,
Double,
yeah,
nice man.
full out double flip. I didn't ever think I was gonna get it, and I did it in one session. I
Respect. One session.
One session.
Hell yeah.
You know it's fucked up. So you'll have to tell me if you think this video is worth putting out, because I recorded a video of me trying to do the inward varial roll. Five
Yeah, it's a
days,
tough trick.
3 hours every day, like for 5 days, and on the last day of the last game, or last day of the game, I put in 3 hours, and that trick, it made me cry, like for real. I have a whole like hour recording of like my mental breakdown, like over the course of this, like trying this trick every day. And it's just one roll. Like, it's easy to say it's
Hmm.
just one roll, quote unquote, but like, it's in theory it's just one roll of the unicycle, and I could not do it after days and days and days of trying. And it has made me completely mentally reevaluate like rolls as a trick in their entirety.
Rolls are not easy. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think anyone who thinks they're easy, if you see a rider who makes a roll, even just a rolling wrap, look easy, like that has been like torture and like pain and suffering that they have put on their body to make it look like that.
I mean, the thing I like about rolls is I feel like they're very hard to get consistent.
Yeah.
But once you get them consistent, they're not scary
No, you can just do
and they
it.
don't usually hurt. Just like flip tricks can hurt.
Oh, they can hurt all right. And that
Oh
brings.
yeah, of course, of course. Any trick can hurt, and you can always have a bad fall. But I feel like in general, rolls is not like something scary that you have to commit to. Like
No, you don't hit
when
the.
you're gonna go for a big flip or a big spin.
You don't hit the ground after a roll, and you're like, "Oh God, will I ever unicycle again?" Like, that can happen after like one really bad flip trick. But I feel like rolls, you hit the ground and you're frustrated, and coming back, like that's why Pierre Sturny looks. His riding looks just incredible. It's so smooth. It's so clean. Most of his tricks don't even have a correction between them. It's just trick, 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 combo, 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 land right
You know what?
away.
One thing about Pierre, he rides so fast.
So
It's
fast.
very difficult when you're the presentator or the commentator at a flatline competition and you have to call out all of his tricks.
Yeah.
It's so fast. It's so fast. It's like, and you're
Yeah.
like tripping over your words because you're trying to catch up with his writing.
Yeah, he's almost too good. You're like, Pierre, listen. This is for the if you want us to judge you good, you gotta like slow down. You gotta take it easy.
Pierre is definitely like one of the best all arounders.
Yeah,
He's good in everything.
his
It's insane.
trials lately
He does
too.
he does podiums on everything, like trial, straight, and flat, and high jump all
Totally.
the time.
And you may have listened to like we had an interview with him during Spain, and I'm like super drunk or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, Pierre, your writing like looks like a French writer, and he's like, I don't know who the fuck you are, but I think my writing looks like my writing thinks, and you know what, I wish I could go back in time and like take that comment away because I watch him now, I watch him every video he puts out, and his writing is unique. No one else is writing like him, and it's so clean and so gnarly. And I don't think on my best day ever I'll be able to land one combo as clean as he lands, like literally everything he rides.
Mm.
But man, Skirt
Definitely a
Hunt,
fast-paced writer.
yeah, he's phenomenal. Keep doing all those videos you're doing, Pierre. They're incredible, worth watching
Yeah, come
every
and
day.
post them on Skirt. I see you post them on Urban Unicycle Chat and Instagram, but where's the Skirt love, bro? Where's the
Yeah,
Skirt love?
get off that Facebook game, man. It's dead. It's dying.
Yeah.
Skirt though, how we've done all those like Facebook like out the game games and all that junk, and it's just so clean and so easy on Skirt. I want there to be more types of games on there because it's just so easy to like ride, post trick, talk to other riders about it.
Mhm.
You know,
I just wish people would chat more on the chat
yeah,
feature.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so nice, but it's always like someone writes something 2 hours later, someone replies to that or answers something else or asks another question. And like, there's never like a live conversation with people like you would find on Discord servers for those who are
Totally.
used to Discord servers.
Well, it's funny.
I think we're missing like probably a few users to like get that tipping point where we're able to have like conversations live with many people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and if you remember, like back in some of those forum days, you'd have I don't know. I always heard it called a thon. I don't know if you remember this, like where
Um,
everyone just happens to be on the forums at the same time, and everyone's like
mm,
posting and replying and replying and posting and posting and replying and replying, and you just like kind of you're like throwing like 5, 10, 20 pages of new stuff on the forums in like a couple
mm.
hours. And that's just what that chat feels like. It just feels like everyone, everyone's on and talking to each other. I feel like I was on it really hard the first like few days, and like just like you said, people weren't on it enough, and I'm like, come on, guys, this is live unicycling right now. This is where all
Like
unicycles
I'm
start.
writing something sometimes and I see like the last person who wrote something is still online. I'm like, oh yes, they're gonna reply,
Yeah,
and I get all excited and it just never happens.
yeah. Some guys like Emile, who's that? I don't know that guy. I'm gonna go look at some other posts. And you're like,
Well,
no, no, come
actually,
on.
even yesterday, I asked if anyone had not listened to your podcast yet for Unicast 3. And I was like, does anybody else wants to watch it at the
I
same
saw
time as
that.
me? And then we can comment at the same time. And then it gave me an idea
Yeah.
for my podcast.
That
I was like,
yeah,
oh,
that's a fun idea too. I like the person who was supposed to start this with and he did this, I doubt he'll even listen to this, but it is Dan Cowling, and we tried to do something together. He's been busy doing other stuff in Australia. And so I started doing it on my own, and our whole idea was like we're gonna watch other writers' videos, and we're gonna like break them down and stuff like this. And it's just I when you said that, I was like, oh, that's exactly what people should be doing with these podcast things. Is like having fun, talk about other unicycle content with writers, and just breaking it down.
yeah, you know what? Like Spencer, I just had a conversation with Spencer. He was like, "Oh, bro, like I don't know if you talked about this, but I remembered that video of Pelly Schramm's run at NAUCC 2008 where Sean Johannesson and his girlfriend are commenting not so nicely
Oh
about Pelly's
yeah,
riding
oh
because
yeah,
he's he's doing
I was
flatline
there.
on a freestyle
Yeah,
unicycle.
and he lends that out
Out
720.
seven,
Yeah, and it's like super clean. It's like really good. Definitely the biggest
not
trick
that clean, but out seven.
at the
First one in the world to
time.
do out seven.
it was like the biggest thing that was being thrown
I
without
know seven
question.
720 unispins were like still crazy for
And
anyone to do.
they're just like talking shit about it. It's like what you
Yeah,
guys were talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
on your
yeah,
last
yeah.
episode, where like people are like, oh, it's not, it doesn't count. It's not a
You're
freestyle
right, right.
unicycle. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like why did anybody think this ever? It's so
Yeah,
funny.
it's like, come on,
It's just like
Sean.
the butthurt extreme unicyclists
Let's
being like, freestyle, no.
let's see you throw that 720. You know.
Actually, you should link that run in the chat. I'll send it to you
Oh
so you can
yeah,
link it
yeah,
because
yeah. That's one of my
Pele
favorites.
actually does some very nice creative stuff, which even to this day you don't expect people to do those weird combos like backflip
Totally.
to stand up wheel walk.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny. I feel like I've heard of people talk about some like NBDs by writers that were later, and I'm like, no, no, no. Pele Schramm did that like way back in the day, like stuff like that. Uh, yeah, I miss him. I miss him a lot. I know he like went to college, gave up unicycling. I think he lives in Israel now or something like that. Uh,
I don't know, man. I
he's
haven't
he's
talked to
super
Pele in
Jewish, so
years.
yeah, he used to be one of the riders I talked with the most because he's from my state
Yeah,
originally.
he visited Montreal once or twice, and we rode. Once, like he came in and we rode together. I think another time we just met up, just because he was in town, and we went to get some bagels or something.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys too. Like he would never wear pads. It doesn't matter how hard he got hurt or how hard he hit the ground. Like if it
Mhm.
wasn't a competition, we would go out riding in Seattle, and we'd be like padded up and stuff, wearing knee pads at shins, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good," just in his jeans and t-shirt, like all the time, and he would get fucked up on rides, just like smash his ankles, smash his shins, and just keep riding. And I'm just weak. I just don't have it in me, you know.
I feel like it comes with age as well. Like I used to not wear pads all the time or not be scared of tricks, and just like you were talking about riding with Ed on your last episode, I was like,
Mm,
oh, guys, I relate to this. Ooh,
yeah,
I'm getting close to my 30s. I'm not liking it.
yeah. Well, and like I used to like be like, I don't know, I can go out. I don't need to wear pads today.
Mm.
And now I'm like, fuck me. Like if I hit the ground hard, like I'm gonna be fucked up. I have to wear my knee pads. So like,
Well, you
I,
know what? I have a nice thing for this. I just never wear pads, but I never do tricks where I'm scared of hitting my shin.
yeah, yeah,
So I've just abandoned flip tricks in general
yeah. I
and
mean, that's a
unispins.
good
I just
call.
don't ride. Let's
Just
just put it this way: I just don't ride anymore. Who cares?
yeah, ride for fun. I don't know. I've been
I actually
having.
rode today. I rode today.
I wanted to ride today really bad, but it snowed, so I'm probably trapped inside for the week. Did you do anything good? Anything worth like
Uh,
your ride?
so Eli Brill was telling me go lend a set for Scared the Game because we're missing some people. And I was like, all right. I was thinking of doing like maybe a trick or two for Scared the Game. All right. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down and do some leg wraps. I'm pretty good at leg wraps. I'm like, okay, I'll probably try to do 7 leg around, and then I start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I get to 6, and I
Oh
text
my
Eli. I'm
god.
like, you think 6 is enough? And he's like, what the hell, bro? I think it's fine. I was like, okay, perfect, done writing for today.
Yeah, he's like, I think it's enough. I don't think people are gonna do four, let alone six. That's pretty great. Yeah, I've been having a pretty good year for riding. Frankly, I mean, I'm still sticking with the street pretty good. I'm just wearing my pads all the time, but it takes me like an hour to like warm up
Get ready. Yeah.
to even like start doing. I'm like I've got a couple of people who ride in my town, mostly this one kid who rides street,
Mm.
and he's like, we show up, he puts his pads on, he's ready to throw down, and I'm like, no, no, man, it's gonna be like 45 minutes for me.
But
Like I
that's
need to
fine.
like,
Like that's how everybody should be getting ready to unicycle. You
yeah,
need to warm up. And especially the older you get, the more you need to warm up and
yeah,
get your muscles ready. And you just, you start the machine and you warm it up just like a car, just like anything. Your body needs to be ready for this. So if
totally.
you get on your uni and start your hardest trick right away, chances are that it's probably
Well,
not going to go well. But the younger you are, the less impact you're going to have on your body
yeah,
when
and
you don't want to.
I think it's like, even if like you want to keep riding hard, I think is the thing. It's like you got to
Hmm.
warm up if you want to keep trying to push yourself, and if you just want to not push yourself and try to throw a few hard tricks and wreck your whole body, like Yeah, I mean, yeah, go for it. But I feel like I got a few more big tricks I want to do in me, before I gotta put that thing down and stop trying so hard.
Chill. I want to see that handrail. You have to do it.
Uh,
I want
you
to see that
you know,
handrail.
so that kid in my town, he got it before me. Because
You know, you keep saying that kid in my town.
yeah, it's Mo's.
Does he
It's
have a
Mo's.
name?
It's Mo's heart. But
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
it's Mo's.
you.
So
Like, can you name him? Thank you.
he is still a child in my eyes, and I don't want to like throw him on media stuff if he doesn't necessarily want to be named or be part of my business. So, it's more like a respect thing, not like a
Okay.
trying to keep him under the radar or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's all good. I'm just like, you're always like that kid, and I'm like,
he's funny
it's like
because
if
like
you go on skirt, I think you can like 1 and 1 = 2 kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, totally. Well, and it's funny. Only a few, like 2, 3 years ago now, he landed. I was there when he like landed his first crank flip, and
Hmm.
now he's like bummed out about some of his tricks he hasn't gotten in skirt. I'm like, oh my god, Mosey, you're about to pass me. Like you're about to pass me in like 2 years. You've learned every trick I've learned in my whole life in like the last 2 years. I think you're okay. I think you're gonna be. I think you're gonna make it. You know.
But I've been thinking about this recently. I think it's cool for new writers because there are so many tricks people can learn from, right? Because when we were learning tricks, if you could land a crank flip or a 360 unit spin, that was like the most insane stuff you could do.
Absolutely.
If you could do a 540, you were,
A
one of the top in
god.
the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So I think it becomes easier to do tricks once other people can do them, right? You see
Absolutely.
this in unicycling all the time. One person learns a new trick, then there's a plethora of others that will do the same trick or the same combo.
Totally. Well,
And I
like
think it's nice. It's like people are like, oh, crank flip. Yeah, I can learn that in a day. Whereas back in the days, it'd be like, whoa, crank flip
months.
to try. I won't even think of trying this because only the pros can
Well,
do crank
and
flips
it's
kind of thing.
like I've been writing since like literally before the crank flip existed. And
Oh,
like
2004.
and it's like and I like see it now and I'm just like those guys were doing it without shin guards. They were doing it with metal pedals back in the day
Oh,
and
metal
stuff like
pedals.
that. And like that's how I learned my first crank flip was like on metal pedals. Like literally
Mm,
like the plastic like Odyssey pedals did not exist when I had like started doing my first crank flips. And God, what a painful time in my life that was. Just have scars that'll be there forever because I was too stupid to put on shin guards and stuff like that. But I just like how like, even like my favorite example is like Chris Kovac doing like that secret side in Italy, in the
mhm.
flat comp, and then like that was like the first one that at least was like landed in competition, I think, or
I
like
think
the
it was the
first.
first one ever.
Yeah, the first one ever, and he landed on his first try. It was just incredible. And then just a shit ton of people were doing it like in the next
Yeah,
one. Just a shit ton
yeah,
of people. And I'm like, "Whoa, this is crazy." Like just as soon as people know it's possible, it just comes out
right.
of the
I
woodwork.
love that. I love this. It's like, oh, it's possible. Then well, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You just need the first person to be like, oh, this is
I
impossible, but I'll do it anyway.
I'm a
And
little
once they
surprised.
prove it's not impossible, everybody else jumps on the bandwagon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a little surprised that more people. I know a good handful of people have done a few whips now. It's Jack and Eli and Adrian were some of the big ones. Tim DeSmet's done some good whips on video, and there's a handful of other riders who have landed whips. Colby obviously has landed whips. Um, but I'm surprised that one hasn't been pushed a little harder into more people doing it. Like I'm sure
Have
that
you ever tried the whip?
I have. I've gotten it all the way around before, actually.
Yeah.
Shockingly,
Did you ever come close to considering committing?
I would say I have put the trick away for a while in lieu of trying to do like actually get 720s and stuff like that. But there was a moment, a session where like I was getting it all the way around and landing with one foot on pedal and being like, "Oh shit." Like this there's a possibility that this might exist. And then, I just like put it away and never came back to it. But like
It's so scary.
it's very
Like I
scary.
understand why nobody wants to do it.
Yeah,
It's so scary.
it's one of the few tricks where you do very, very real have to completely let go of the unicycle and pray.
And yeah, and most people throw it forwards,
Yeah.
so you can't see the unicycle arrive. You just see it spin under
Oh,
you.
and
Whereas
smash
if
you
it was
right in the
coming
butthole.
from the front, you could see exactly the seat arrive and just land on it looking at your unicycle.
Totally.
Like Max did it. Max Peabody.
Oh
I think
yeah, that
that's
one's
the
good.
best technique ever.
Yeah, I'm
I
surprised
think it's the
that
most
that one hasn't come
consistent,
around
right?
either.
That was so cool. Tire
But
grab. For those who don't know, it was a tire grab whip.
yeah, yeah, it's in the Montreal flat video. Or
Yeah,
yeah,
SimQ 20 something.
one of those
I
years.
can't remember.
It's all fog to me. Too much
Oh
farting.
man.
I think.
One of those years where I wasn't in Montreal.
Oh yeah, I definitely think Montreal was like one of my most favorite ones. But the front flip too. I'm surprised that that more people haven't tried it. It's like Adrian, Max, and Tim, and
Hello.
and anybody else. Have you
Me.
tried it? Oh, you did it too.
I've
Oh
done it.
shit. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I've
That's
done
right.
it.
That's right. No, no. I remember seeing you do it. Totally. Did you do it in a gym? Right.
Yeah, I did it at school. Yeah, in a
Yeah,
circus
yeah,
school.
that's right. I do see it. Yeah, and I figured, especially with Max, like get in other videos doing it on flat, and then even throwing it in like the comp in Montreal.
Yeah, that was
I
insane.
I thought that would be like
That was totally
when
insane.
other people were like, "Oh shit!" Like maybe we should do this. But maybe people are seeing Max Schultz and like, nah, that's still just like like a Max
The
Schultz
thing is
thing.
that you have to be kind of it's like it's not a unicycle only trick, right? You have to be able to understand what a flip is with your body.
Totally.
And we don't usually get a lot of speed in unicycling as opposed to like bike or motocross or whatever,
Yeah.
which they always have flips because they can get speed and you just rotate and it's quite easily. This one requires a lot of power. You need a very good high jump because you need to get that height if you want to be able to go around. And then you need to understand the technique of a tuck um, to go around and land back. And it's not an easy landing. It's really not
Yeah, I
an
was gonna
easy
say
landing.
that
It's
that's
super
the
hard.
hard part is the landing. It could be off in
I
any
think
axis.
everything's kind of the hard part. The
Yeah.
takeoff, you need to have a really good takeoff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Get all that good height and you be able to tuck in and then just not die when you land.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you think the backflip will ever happen?
If someone's stupid enough to do it off of something,
You
yes.
think it's still gonna be an Adrian Delacroix style and have to be off like a huge stack of pallets?
Yeah, it's never going to be done on flat. There's no way.
There's
You don't
no
have enough.
way.
You can't do it.
Do you
Unless
think?
someone does it like on a very small unicycle that's super light
Oh, that's a
and
good call.
like
That's a
super
good
low.
call. I didn't think about
Like
that.
that would be easy.
Do you
You
think?
know, the way Dave Hackett did a whip. If you
Yeah,
tape
yeah.
your feet, I mean, people could do it for sure. If you tape your feet and like the seat somehow doesn't fall off, maybe tape the seat to your leg.
Do you
A good
think
acrobat could do it easily.
someone could do it like almost fakey style? Like you like get some speed running backwards, and then you jump hard, seat out, and like tuck.
No,
Nah,
that's insane. I
that
mean,
sounds dumb. I mean,
for
even
sure,
just like,
anybody go out there and prove me wrong, but I cannot imagine it.
do you remember? I don't even know when this would have been. There was at least a little era there in like the 2000 like 13s through 18s where like there was like some Australian writer who claimed that he did it. And he
Yeah,
like
yeah,
had
yeah. I
a
remember that.
video and he was like gonna post it and we're like, okay, we're waiting.
Well,
Anytime.
exactly. We Nobody believed it because he never posted it, and he never posted it, so nobody believed it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, completely. Well, I mean, I have a few questions. I don't, I know you as like organizer, like rule book writer, competition runner. But I honestly don't know. How did you even get started unicycling? How did you become you obviously now a circus performer, but how did you start unicycling and like where did that even come from?
So when I was in elementary school in sixth grade, about 12 years old, there was this term. The year was separated in four terms. One of these term in the PE class, there was circus, and you could do, like the mini tramp where everybody else went. I didn't want to wait in line. And it was a bunch of other things. And my coach was like, there's nobody at the unicycles. So why don't you give it a go? And in about one class, I was able to ride a little bit around. And I was like, this is really fun. And I did the whole term unicycling. I really loved it. And I asked my parents for a unicycle for a while. They did not want to because they had bought me a skateboard and I did not use it. So they're like, nope, you're not getting a unicycle. And then I kept asking, and after a year, they were like, okay. And they bought me like a 24-inch unicycle. I was riding around a lot, and then I discovered Jess Regal's videos on
Oh yeah.
unicyclejester.com. I don't know if that website still exists, but anyway, he was riding with Zach Baldwin as well, and I loved his videos. And I was like, wow, you can actually do other things than just riding around on a unicycle. And then I discovered Montreal, which is the community of unicyclists in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much the rest is history. After that, I started going on unicyclist.com and filming myself, uploading videos and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's crazy. Your story is like bizarrely similar to mine.
Oh,
Yeah. Like almost like beat for beat, like in a weird, it almost
no,
kind of
I
creeps me
feel
out.
like a lot of people did exactly this. Hugo Duguay as well learned the same way. He learned in school and then got a unicycle.
Yeah, even the parents like I had like a pogo stick and a skateboard and a bike. My parents were like, no. We're not gonna buy you a unicycle. It's stupid. You don't do any of the stuff that you have. And I'm like, no. I really will do
I know.
unicycling.
Oh, I still remember me saying, "But yes, I will, because I'm gonna ride it around in
And
places. I'm gonna use it as a transportation method."
my parents got it for me, and to their shock and horror, I stuck with it more than anything. So much so that like
Right?
when I got in trouble in school, like the old I was like, you know, they couldn't ground me, they couldn't take like movies or video games, like I just didn't care about that
We're
stuff.
gonna take your
They literally
unicycle
would
away.
take my unicycle from me and like make me walk to school instead of ride to school. And
Oh
yeah, then my
shit,
grades went up like every time.
that's hilarious.
uh
Oh.
What's your of all the events you've done, you know, organized? Which one has been your favorite? Like, which one is like? It doesn't have to be like the best one ever, but like, you know, which one's the shining star in your heart of all the
Of the
events
events I've helped put together, or
that you've been a
been
part
at.
of in any capacity, in any capacity,
Hmm. Well,
just as a writer or an organizer, or any of them.
Unicon in Montreal was very special to me because I did not help to organize at all, which is great. It's so nice to go to a unicycle competition and just enjoy,
Yeah,
and you don't do any work.
just be a
It
writer. Yeah,
Yeah, just to be a writer and just enjoy what other people have put together. And Montreal was very special to me for that because I did not help at all, like barely anything. You know, it was negligible. So I
yeah.
really enjoyed it, but also it was my home city. So everybody, like thousands and thousands of people, came to my home city, and then we went for rides, urban cycling rides in the city where I was leading people, and it was just had a flock of ducks like following. It was like mama duck with all the ducks following me
Like,
like to the next spot because people were like, I don't know where's the next spot. I'm like, follow me.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
was like eight
It's
cyclists
right over
behind me.
here.
Yeah. And riding, seshing all the best spots in Montreal. And Hugo and I were riding around being like, oh, we're going to be able to bring like this rider to this spot, and they're going to try that handrail that nobody ever wanted to try because it's too big for us. So that
Yeah.
was very exciting. But I think the best would have to be Unicon in Korea, the World Championships in
Oh,
Korea.
really?
Yep,
Interesting. Tell me
that
about
was.
it. I didn't get to
Ooh.
go. I saved up all my money, and in a long, short story, I had to move out of my apartment and into a new one, and it
Mm.
cost me my whole. After a whole year of saving, it cost me my whole trip to Korea.
Oh, that
So tell
sucks.
me, I want to now experience it through your eyes. Tell me
Right.
what
Okay.
was great about Korea.
I will not make this a short story. I will actually talk about it because when Korea was first announced while we were in Spain for the next unicycle championships, I think myself included, most urban riders were like, "Oh gosh, in Korea, right? Urban's gonna suck there. Like it's
Totally.
not gonna be organized well. Blah blah blah." And there's
Bunch
even
bunch of
myself
distance riders.
in Unicon days that Chris Hirwai did. Uh, I'm saying like, see you in two at EUC, joking, right?
Yeah, yeah,
What an
totally.
asshole. You know, it was my best competition. And a lot of people didn't believe it was going to be fun. A lot of people didn't believe it was going to be fun. A lot of people didn't want to go because it was far and expensive. We usually have Unicons, you know, have been mostly in Europe and in Montreal. But since Urban exists, it's been like Japan in 2004, and then it was Europe all the time, and then once in Montreal. And now it's going to Korea, right? Which is great because it
Yeah,
needs to
yeah.
go some other places. But myself included, a bunch of people didn't believe in it, which is very sad.
Totally.
because all you have to do to make it happen is just help.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we need all the
Just
time.
take
And you just
part.
like go on.
Yeah.
And so in the end, I was like, oh, I'm not working. Like I have a break from work in that time. I was like, okay, I guess I'll buy my ticket. And kind of not so motivated. I bought my plane ticket, but as soon as I did, then I started nerding out about everything about Korea, where we were going to stay, where's the competition, what's the language like, what's the culture like. And that was very fun because I was like, oh, nice. I'm actually going to go somewhere and be a tourist. Well, not be like photo taking tourist, but experience another culture, which I thought was very exciting. Go somewhere else new. But on top of that, and that's, I even posted about this on Urban Unicycle Chat. I said there was a very special atmosphere in Korea, at least for the urban unicycling, because nobody went just because it was easy, right?
Yeah,
And some
yeah.
people took this message personally and were like, well, I couldn't go because blah, 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 name the excuse, which irrelevant. If you had something more important to do, you had something more important to do.
Totally.
But most people only went because they had to put the world champ forward as the number one priority. And I'm
Uh,
not saying it's not okay that you had other priorities more important than the world champ. But to go to this one, you really had to be okay.
you
This
had to
is
put
my
in the
top
effort.
priority
It was
because it
not.
was a lot of money and it was really far, and we haven't had that. So there was we were missing a bunch of riders, which sucked. But everyone that was there was like, the world championship is my number one priority. So I think that made it a little bit special, and everyone was pleasantly surprised by how well everything was run. The trials competition was insane. That was Dan Cormo, held by
Ah, love Dan Karma.
that organized the trials. The course was insane. It was so well built. It was nuts. It was so well built. It was insane. The flat land was fun. You know, it's easy to organize. We just put a couple of pallets around so
Yeah,
people
right.
can sit. The street course. We built a street course in one day. It
was
was
it
very fun,
was it a
but it was.
satisfying course, you think?
Oh yeah, I think the whole team that set the course together, we set the bar for the next events upcoming after that, which we did for summer UC in the UK. We built an even better course.
That's pretty awesome. I'm into that.
I don't know if you saw a photo of summer UC 20
I don't know if I did. I think
whenever before the pandemic.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
lost in
I
years
think I'm gonna
now.
look it up. I remember because I do of course chit chat with Noli a lot. I think he made it to that one if I'm not mistaken.
I can't even remember.
It's too many people, but like yeah, Noli always made it a priority to get to those EUCs and like getting to Europe for a weekend for me is
Mhm.
so hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, especially with my job. But I definitely want to watch those videos and catch up on my EUC memories.
Well, the street course at Summer UC in the UK was we painted it. We built it out of pallets and plywood. We covered everything like this. We covered
It,
the stairs as well with the plywood,
it made it
and we
legit.
painted it. Yeah, so it really looked like a skate park. It didn't just look like a bunch of pallets,
Totally, totally.
which totally changes the experience.
I
And we
agree.
had a. It was happening at the same time as the EJC, the European Juggling
Oh
Convention. So we had
yes, I
all
do
those
remember
guys
this.
come in to watch us. So atmosphere was great there. But to loop the loop with Korea, I think it was also very special to me because I won a rail race, which was a new
Oh
event. But you
nice.
know what? I don't care. I'm a world champion, so
Yeah, yeah.
I can say I'm a world champion. You know?
You got that medal. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
You can
I
say you're
got
that world
third.
champion.
Yeah, I've never performed so well in a competition, and I did not even prepare so much, but I performed really well. I came third in still stand, and I made it to the finals in high jump over bar,
Oh damn.
which I didn't think was going to happen. But you know, I'd been working a lot and unicycling a lot by default because you know I'm a circus performer and
Yeah,
I do a
yeah.
lot of unicycle on stage. And even though I don't, you know, jump a meter 30 on stage, I still do some jumps on a daily basis. And I think it was the fact that I was writing, you know, most days doing. It's not easy stuff. It's not the craziest stuff I do on stage, but I have to land it every time. So
Totally.
it was practice on a daily basis, and in the end, it was a very good preparation for the world champs.
Man, yeah, I'm just jealous. I wanted to go to South Korea more than like any of the other ones I'd ever gone to. I've been to all over the United States. Obviously, got to go to the Montreal, and I've been to Lots of all over British Columbia, and over here in Canada on my side. I've been to Europe like a couple times now. I've been to New Zealand, Australia. I've been to South America for to hang out with Pedro Tejada,
Hmm.
and I have not been to any of the Asian countries. And I hear from like so many people how wonderful it was and how it was like so hot and sweaty, but like you still got to like unicycle with a good group of riders anyway. And I
The
just
coldest day was 32 degrees.
oh my god, that's too hot. That's way too hot.
That was the coldest day. Ugh,
I
it
mean,
was it was insane.
it reminds me of like, when I was in Montreal during that street ride, it was pretty hot, and I got to like wring my shirt out. It was like
Mm.
soaking wet. I just imagine it'd just be every day of that, not even riding.
In Korea, one day I had a heat rash. I was wearing my T-shirt and I got a heat rash because it was too warm and kept sweating, and I got
You're
a heat
seeing like
rash. I
you're seeing
couldn't
those
believe
like
it.
lines, those red lines running down your body, and you're like, oh my god, what's happening?
And the craziest thing is that it was warm all day. Sun was out. It was never too much overcast, obviously, because you want to suffer. And at the end of the day, when the start finally starts setting down, at 7 or 8, the humidity just starts going up. You're like, the sun's not like piercing and being like killing you and making you melt, but the humidity, which was already high in the daytime,
Yeah,
somehow magically got even higher in the evening, and everyone was like
you're like, is
trying
this
to
real?
grasp
Like,
their
it's funny. It's
head.
funny being in North America, where like literally every building, every household has like hardcore air conditioning, and
Oh, but there they also have hardcore air
oh, do
conditioning.
they? Do they?
Oh yeah,
Oh, dang.
yeah.
Because like
I mean,
most of the
it gets
places I've
warm.
traveled, they don't. So you expect to like just be sweaty and gross like the whole time, with no escape in sight. But that's good to know. I'm excited about that if I go. God, I mean, I love sweating in places, but it's also nice to like use a little bit of AC now and then.
Mm.
Uh,
But I feel like I was talking about this with Cal as well on the podcast. Like unicyclists sightsee and unicycle. That's how we
y-
sightsee, right? We go
Absolutely.
somewhere to unicycle and then you discover something else as well in the same
Yeah,
time.
I
And I love that.
definitely like unicycling is the vehicle with which I get to travel the world and see the things I want to see. No
Hmm.
question. You guys were talking a lot about the world championships, and I think we could talk about like rules. We'll talk about rules and like comps and stuff later. But like, what do you think? You were saying that you do think the unicycle world should get bigger, like for these competitions. Uh,
I have nothing against it.
uh,
Definitely not.
I agree 100%. I would absolutely be down for a big surge in unicycles as well. Like, I'm a rock climber as well. I do quite a lot of rock climbing. It's one of the things I can still do during the pandemic. And rock climbing did not get worse when like a shit ton of people started doing it, when it became really popular. And now it's going to
Hmm.
be in the next Olympics, God, whenever that's going to be. Like, and so as much as you were talking about the spirit of unicycling. Like, if there's more people doing it, there's gonna be like more money in it. There's gonna be people who know how to organize or are more interested in organizing, who can probably have
Hmm.
a clearer mindset for doing it in a way that maybe other unicyclists haven't done. So, I mean, I definitely agree with that in a bit. What do you think? What do you think we need to make like our competitions better?
Before I answer that question, I just want to say first that I'm going to be a very big party pooper, but
No, go for it.
unicyclists are not that special. We just love unicycling
Yeah,
and we're just sharing our
absolutely.
passion. And that's what the unicycle spirit is. But literally everything else in the world shares this unicycle spirit. Just change unicycle for something
Yes,
else,
I
you
agree.
know?
I agree.
It's just sharing a passion.
You
And
know, the
I'm
same way
sorry to
that
be so blunt, but
the way that people are nerdy about bicycling or nerdy about
yeah, it's cool.
video
It's cool that our
games
sport is very
or
cool and it's super underground, but
and
it's special. But yes, of course, you're a special snowflake, but it's also not that
well,
special.
and
It's just people getting together doing what they like.
I think the thing that makes it like a little different is like, well, not different. It's just it's a consequence of less people unicycling. Not that it doesn't make unicycling special. It's like, even my side, like, you know, I feel like the thing I hate the most about unicycling is that I am like an island unto myself in deep world of unicycling.
Mm.
Like, there hasn't been a big club in Spokane. Like there used to be riders like in Dan with Dan Heaton and those guys in Seattle, but they're all gone now. And so like the nearest rider to me, other than like the Mo's, the kid in my town, like they're hundreds of miles away, and I feel like it's so much effort just to participate in the unicycling world outside of my town. And I'm like
Yeah.
always jealous of like those cities that have big clubs and young kids and freestyle riders and group rides and all this stuff, because like I've just never, other than going to events, I've never ever been able to be a part of that like aspect or element of unicycling. And
Hmm.
it sucks. It's like I feel like it's why I think it's why a lot of unicyclists in the United States in particular, maybe this is true in Canada as well, like they get really good at around or near events, and then they like fade away again because like
Mm.
they don't have anyone to ride with or anyone to push them or way to
Yeah,
keep your motivation.
we just need clubs. I think that's the answer, right? You were talking with Ed about STFU London. How do they get a lot of people to ride? They just have a ride every month.
Yeah,
And
no
what are
matter what.
clubs? It's pretty much just a ride every month.
Yeah, and
It's
you're like
you just
better
need
or worse.
consistency.
Like doesn't matter if people show up or not, you still have that club and you still do it and you still like encourage people to go. And then if
Hmm.
you're smart about it, I think the way that Ed's been smart about it, you record like the event, the people come in and people get stoked on it.
Yeah. And I just want to come back, sorry, to me being a
That's
party
fine. That's
pooper.
fine. Fine. We're here to talk shit, is what we're
'Cause
here to do.
something a little bit more positive, because it is true that because unicycling is so small, you can befriend like the world champion and just go up to them and talk to them. But at the same time, unicycling is going to need to get like so much bigger before this is not before this becomes an issue. Like
Oh yeah,
unicycling is going to need to
totally.
become so much bigger than it is currently before you cannot go and just have a chat with the top competitors.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Like,
while.
oh,
Like
it's so small.
like
World Championship, 2,000 people.
yeah,
Everyone, it's
right
the whole world,
right
right?
now you can text
Um,
any world champion in unicycling and probably on Instagram and they'll just be like, "Yeah, I got free time. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you
yeah,
about
yeah,
stuff." It's like no big deal. They're like not busy with all their big meetings and hard training sessions or anything like that. It's a
but
small
yeah, I
world.
think I think if we want to have more people unicycling, we just need more clubs and organizations around the world. I think that's part of why track and freestyle is pretty big, um, because there are clubs of freestyle
That's true.
and track. I believe there are clubs as well, and they probably meet at a certain location. And freestyle, they do meet at a certain location, and that's why in the '90s and early 2000s, basketball was pretty big because people had clubs and they would meet certain time, certain location. And if you have a certain time, certain location, then people can be like, oh, well, I'm going to go to that ride. When you ride all the time on your side, maybe it's not as motivating, right?
Yeah,
And there's
totally.
an event, and then you're like, yeah, there's an event, and then it all fades away. Why
Yeah.
isn't there so much more just easygoing rides or meetups? I think that would help the sport grow.
Well, and like you go to those clubs where some of the clubs I've known about. They're like if you do a little freestyle, you have to like dabble in everything too. They're like, okay, today we did a lot of freestyle stuff this last week, so this week we're gonna show everyone how racing works and like do lots of racing
Hmm.
practice, and then everyone kind of gets a feel for like all those different things that are part of the club, like including basketball or hockey and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
That
Uh,
that's all stuff I would love doing, and I
yeah,
can't. 'Cause I'm
I
always on the run.
I have never ever hated unicycle hockey anytime I've ever played it. I've always really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The guys who ride up in Vancouver over here too. That's like all they do. They meet up not for riding necessarily. They meet up just to do unicycle hockey, like every month.
Unicycle hockey is weird, man. It's why is it big in Switzerland and Australia? I
No
don't get
idea.
it. It's
No
so
idea.
weird.
Those
Why do we
Australians love
not
it
have
too.
any like American and Canadian teams for
Yeah,
unicycle hockey?
yeah. You think it would be big here, but
Right?
all we got is unicycle football. Good lord.
Oh, that video where someone gets tackled is so intense.
Oh my god. I mean,
It's,
listen. I
it's
think it would be fun, I guess, but I don't know. I just don't care about football in the best it is. So
yeah. But speaking of unicycle hockey at the World Championship in Spain in 2016. Someone came up to me from the Swiss team and was like, "Oh my God, are you the guy that was in Circus Monte last year?" They recognized me from on stage because I was
Wow.
doing shows in Switzerland. And I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Oh, well,
Yeah, that's
cool.
crazy.
You're a
And
unicyclist."
now
We're like, "Yeah."
now I'm gonna crush you in unicycle basketball. So enjoy that.
No, it was unicycle hockey,
Or
but I don't
unicycle
do
hockey.
either
Unicycle
hockey or
hockey.
basketball.
Were
Yeah, I
you?
don't do either of
Uh,
those.
it's never too late.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure I would get crushed, right? Because they practice. I don't.
The
I haven't hockeyed since
I
I was
think
a
the
teenager.
the last time I did unicycle hockey was in 2008 at that South Dakota, the one where Pele landed the out 720, and
Hmm.
there was a big fight over whether or not to use a puck, like a thick rubber puck or a ball. And
Mm.
the judges had us vote. We get to vote on a puck or a ball, and all the legit hockey writers wanted to use a ball. And we're like, you know what, whatever. Like we like puck. We all voted, and like we outvoted them for a puck, and they proceeded to just punish us with that puck for voting for it. They wanted to use the ball so bad. They were like, no, we're gonna get the rule book. The rule book says ball. We're like, no, 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 we voted. It's fine.
Like the
And
orange
they
hockey
just
puck, right?
beat.
Like the
Yeah,
soft
yeah.
one.
Like no,
Yeah,
it
okay,
was
okay.
not a soft
Like
one.
a
No,
real
it was
one.
it was like a thick hard rubber hockey puck, but
Oh, it was a real hockey
it
puck?
wasn't real. But it was like it was still hard. Like they slapped that shit at us, and it
Yeah, it
smashed into you,
hurts.
and it fucking hurt. And we yeah, I'll vote ball every time
Yeah.
after that.
Why did you? I mean, if it's the
we
orange one, it's pretty squishy, but it hurts so much compared to the ball.
we were a bunch of
Yeah.
stupid urban riders playing hockey against a bunch of like elite like hockey players, and we they punished us for our arrogance. Believe you me.
That makes me remember that reminds me of like older events. Do you remember all those videos? And I've never been to an event where Darren Bedford did this, but like he would put unicycles on fire. Flaming puck hockey. That's what it was. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, flaming
Flaming
puck.
puck hockey.
I played it a lot. I think one of my most famous famous photo is the photo of the unicycle on fire.
Mm,
I don't know if you've ever seen it. I've literally gone to other people's houses and I saw that other people had like the printout of the unicycle on fire
nice.
photo from like the 2008 flaming puck hockey.
We
Uh,
actually did it once in Montreal. Oh.
it's fun, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like woo, fucking it. After 15 minutes, you're like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun. Okay, next thing, next event.
Yeah, but then you put everything on fire, so it's fun. Fire is fun.
At least at the NAUCCs I've been to in the United States, they always try and play it at NAUCC in the United
Mm.
States. There's always at least one night where they try to do some flaming puck hockey.
I've only been
And
to Madison and
and I think Madison is the one like the ones where they have it, but like South Dakota, and then tried to play it in Seattle, and one of the other ones I've been to. Like it's been a big part of at least the United States events that I've been to for some reason. I
wait,
don't.
where was it in 2013?
2013, 2011 was in Madison
Yeah, I
for
was there, and
sure.
I can't remember the other one I've been
Was
to.
it 2013 in Pennsylvania? I know they're like kind of floating
Yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah. That was what it was. It was
Was it like the
not too
Uni?
far of
There's one in
Pittsburgh.
California too, because there was the Uni Games or whatever.
Yeah, that was 2009, 10, 9, 9,
Ah,
9.
it's all blur to me.
Yeah, you go in there. I couldn't go. The T-shirt was light blue this year.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why
That's
do
what
I
I meant.
remember these random things, but I can't remember where, like 2013
Yeah,
and
you know the
UCC
whole
was?
internet's at our fingertips. We're like, we'll let those people look it up.
Mhm.
They'll find it. Emil, what would you say? What's if you had to pick one, what's your personal favorite trick?
I
Personal
do love me a 180 anti-side.
180 anti-side.
Yeah.
It's now you're gonna spin a 180, and then you're gonna spin the unicycle 180 the wrong direction, right? When you're doing a side spin. If we were trying to explain this trick in audio to people.
Well, so if I'm right foot forward and I'm holding the seat out, I will ride, and then add the flip because it's cooler with the flip.
Of
My
course.
unicycle will flip anti-clockwise,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so will my leg. My leg, sorry, will spin. My right leg will go around the seat, going to the left side first, and then in front, hitting my microphone on the way, and then landing.
Yeah, you have to visualize it.
Something like
You
that.
can't just do it like, talking about it. You gotta like,
But basically, I like this trick because it has a big leg movement in it. Same thing with like Buddha flip, for example,
oh yeah,
which is kind of like an out flip with a big kick in it,
I love the
if you
Buddha
may,
flip.
like in X up, I guess. Yeah, I like big movements. It's
Yeah,
visually very pleasing.
it's
That's why
one
I
of
like
the
it.
reasons I was trying to get that stupid, inward barrier roll because if you do it fun, you can like really kick your leg out when you're like stepping over, and I think that feels cool and looks cool.
Yes.
Uh,
Inward varial rolls, once you get them down, though, they're very consistent.
One day, one day. Well, you know what? I have this brand new Mad for One unicycle from Marco. Shout out to Marco for I super idiot broke one of my cranks like pulling this thing out of the box, and he sent me another one. So thanks,
You
Marco.
broke
Mad
it
for
pulling
One.
it out of the box?
Nah, it's like I put it together, and then when I put it together, I took it on the first ride. It's a combination of like maybe it needed to be tightened down more, and maybe I jumped off of it weird, but I like stripped out the crank on like literally my first ride, uh, and he sent me a new one. I tightened it down, and now it's a dream. But I had the mat adapters on it, and so this whole time I like could not practice that trick on my new cranks with the mat adapters. I had to like do it on some old like Chris Home cranks, and
Why couldn't you do it with the mat adapters?
because I had the crank off because it was broken. I probably could have tried to actually still ride it, with the mat adapters on these new cranks, but one of the cranks was broken, so I had it like apart and not put together
Mm.
to work on the flyline stuff. Now it's all put together right, and I'm gonna go back and actually try to do it, but it's just gonna take time. Uh,
Yeah, rolls take time, and rolls take time.
and then if you had to like go back through your memories, like you've probably seen like a few stunts, a few tricks in your eyes and your mind that you're like, holy shit, that's like the coolest thing I've like ever seen someone do on a unicycle. You actually have one of my top five personally. Uh, I don't know what you call it. Is it the decade spin?
Decade flip?
The decade flip, where your body spins a 360 varial around the seat.
Hmm.
I
And then
watched
there's also
you.
the backside.
The cat. There's like the shot of you doing it. I just like rewatched that video just recently, and I'm like literally when I saw you do it, I was like standing right behind the camera, like from that wherever that shot's perspective
In
was.
2011, when the
Yeah,
first time I landed it? Oh,
yeah, yeah. And it
when I'm
is.
screaming Kelly Hickman at the same time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's another one I feel like I've never seen. I have not seen come back a lot. I haven't seen a lot of people try to
No,
bring that
not
one
many
back.
people. Tim Desmet can do them. And there was Pau Surya that did those as well, but he's not writing anymore.
Yeah, and
And I've seen Eli do it just because I was like, dude, do it. They're cool. And then he did it and he didn't
it's
have
like,
any interest.
yeah, I'm walking away. Yeah, that's one of my most precious unicycle memories. So like, yeah, give
You
me.
know, you know what? I don't care that nobody else does it because it's kind of like my
It's
signature trick.
nice.
And nobody
Yeah,
else does it because
it's
it
like
keeps
it's you have
being my signature trick.
this famous like big awesome looking trick that like just like nobody else has done that much of, and your version of it for sure is like when I think of the trick, that's what I think of is you doing it in 2011.
That was a fun day. I
Yeah.
did not expect to land that. Kelly had just come out with a video where he was doing decades. So it was a brand new trick. And I was just riding with John Atwell and Kelly.
John Atwell.
And we just, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Oh my goodness, that's a name I've heard a
And we're
long
just
time.
trying decades for fun. And I decided to try it instead of holding the seat in the back, which is how Kelly was doing it. He was holding it in the back and then
Oh
spinning around.
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
holding it in front and then doing a hand pass. And then I landed it pretty quickly. And I was like, no way.
Yeah,
And I
it
didn't
was
even
good.
think of adding a flip. I think it was John that was like, oh, add a flip, bro. Something
Yeah,
like that. I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this. It's never been done before.
yeah, yeah.
Nick did it.
And that's
I
that's
landed it.
that's that circle, man. That's that circle energy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but
And
yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, Hugo, Edmund, and I were doing a King of the Road, like skate style. The guys from Voodoo Unicycles also had
Yeah,
done one. we were doing that, and one of them was like London NBD, and I was like, yeah, like check off the list.
Yeah, bam, done. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, you guys
Oh,
did that whole
good
King of
road
the
trip.
Road video series for that trip too.
Mm, mm,
Ah,
mm,
those were
mm,
good.
mm.
Those were good videos. Those kept me pumped back in the day. Back in the day. Oh, so
Back,
old. God,
dude,
fall.
I know. We gotta stop this, Bill. This is not good. All the new writers are well, new writers. All the writers have been writing for like 5 years or less are old
Yeah.
guys.
Who are these
Shut
people?
up, geezer.
I remember the first crank flip back in my day.
Right. No, I actually mentioned this like in my podcast that I recorded earlier this week. I just keep saying back in the days, and I really need to stop.
Yeah, it's like, it really wasn't that long ago in the scheme of things either. Like, it's
Yeah, but
unicycling history is all very recent. It's all in the front of my memory. But yeah,
mhm.
come back. Your favorite, your most favorite trick you've ever seen. Like,
Wait, I'm
be a
still
line
gonna
in front
skip
of
this
you.
because we were saying back in the days, and today I just found this spaced out, the DVD by
Oh, I saw that.
Jeb
I
Jones.
saw that on Skirt. Yeah, yeah. That's great. I don't know if
Yeah,
I've seen, like, I think almost every other movie. I don't know if I've seen that one.
yeah. I don't know. It's back in the days when back in the days again. I can't stop.
We're gonna put that on a
Ryan,
T-shirt.
yeah, riding a Bedford hardcore unicycle with profile cranks and an Alex Rim DX32, but colored. Anyway, my favorite trick that anyone's ever done.
Yeah, you witnessed. You saw it in person. You got to see. Have to have seen it in person. Like, you saw that this thing happen on a unicycle, and you're like, oh my god, like that will live in my memory as, like, no video will ever be as good
There
as,
are
like,
many.
this moment.
I
Yeah,
feel like
give me a couple. You can give us a couple. We got time.
any any battles where the battle is close and both people are trying insane tricks at the end, and then
Yeah.
you're sitting at the judge table and you're trying not to lose your you're trying to keep your composure and like judge, and then people are trying insane tricks. There's always this. These are like my favorite hype moment. But if I had to name one, I'll just say, I mean, there's probably a bunch of others are just as cool. But Max Schultz front flip a Unicon in Montreal was pretty insane.
Ah, it
Even
was.
though he did not land it, just the
Yeah.
fact that he tried it was insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I agree. I think, like, of all the flat comps I've ever seen, like, with the energy and the people and the insane tricks, and I just loved watching the flat comp in Montreal. Like, it's just like the reason why I went, practically, like, all in one event.
The best one was in Spain, though. Best flat com, I think, was in Spain.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That was like the
Down,
the biggest,
down.
hardest, insanest stuff.
So many
Yeah,
people all crammed up under the tent because it was raining. So the flat circle is
totally.
pretty small. People like kind of, it was people like if there were big bleachers, kind of. And the ambiance was insane.
Yeah.
And we had the live feed. It was live on Facebook as well. That was so cool
Oh,
at
that's
Unicon in
true. I
Spain.
forgot. We were like,
That was
we could literally go on the
so
Facebook and be
cool.
like, wait, what's happening right now? What's happening right now? And, like, scroll through it. It's like, guys, oh
Yeah.
shit, look at this shit that people are landing. It's all right. If you had to come up with, like, what do you think would be your dream? You've done events, you've done UCs. Like, what would be your dream event? Like, if you could make this event, like, from the ground up, you know, like, what would it look like? How long would it be? What events? Like, how would you run it?
Just a well-run Unicon. I don't think it can get any better than this. I don't think
It's really
a
good.
world championship of urban-only unicycling would be better because there's less people, less competitors. That's what I like about Unicon. You have
Yeah.
days off where you can go chill and check other competitions that are
I
still unicycling.
yeah,
So I
I
think just well-organized, well-run world
yeah,
championships, world championships with all the disciplines.
lots of people were talking about, like, separating the disciplines, and I have to say I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think separating it is, like, it's not going to do anything good for the sport. I don't
Not for
think.
urban,
Definitely not for urban.
not for
Yeah,
the small guy.
not when, like, no, even at the last uh, comp I went to in Seattle, we had NAUCC in Seattle, and there was just so few urban riders by
Mhm.
comparison, and it's like, there's so few urban riders that, like, categories are getting cut and stuff like that. It's like that's not how you want it to be. You want riders to come. You want lots of people to be there. You want lots of people to watch and get excited and have other
Yep.
unicyclists from other disciplines see urban and be like, oh, I could get in on this too. Like, and if you get in it while it's small right now, you have the opportunity to like get in with those riders too.
Mhm.
Man, well, I feel like we could definitely do like a whole. I think a lot of people don't know about like rule making and like how the rule book works and like how the IUF
It's so boring as well.
works.
That's the problem. It's so boring. Nobody wants to hear
It
about it. So and
is,
nobody wants to help
yeah.
anyway. So it's
But I think one of these days we should do one. We should do one on just like rule book stuff. So just so people know about it. Talk about it
on
like
my phone stopped recording, but it just hit 1 hour. Whew.
that's all right. That's all right. We can definitely. I'm finishing up this recording. I'm just gonna end my recording on my side by saying Emile's video recording cut off. So we're
No,
gonna.
no, it didn't cut off. It didn't cut
Oh,
off.
it didn't cut
I
off.
just said it hit 1 hour. So I saw like 000, but I was like, oh, there's a one before.
Okay,
Okay,
never
that's
mind.
why.
Well, this is all now on the podcast. Welcome
Yeah,
to the error we thought we had that we didn't actually
it's okay.
have.
You can't see it, but I'm like tilting my head because I'm filming sideways.
I'm excited. I'm excited
There.
to work on all the cutting. I mean, I don't know, Emile. This is a pretty good one so far. You got anything else? Anything else you want to share?
I think 1 hour is long enough.
Yeah.
Uh,
We don't want to make it like a
I can't think of
Netflix
anything
series.
right now. When are you gonna put this out?
You said you put yours at like a week, right? You're gonna try to do a
Yeah.
new episode a week, and I've been doing my like a little bit longer conversations like this, and I want to like hard keep the pressure on myself to keep doing it. So I've been sticking with my every 2 weeks. I'm gonna do every 2 weeks. That way I have like enough time
So
to
your next
talk to
one's in February.
people. So yeah, the next one should technically be February, the first week of February. And that's probably going to be Jenny Rinker. She's coming up next year.
All right.
I recorded like a whole bunch of episodes of just me talking. I felt like a lot of people. The first episode was so. A lot of people seem to like the weird parts, but then a lot
Yeah.
of it's just me like talking about my feelings and like I don't know if people want to hear that. Maybe I'll throw a couple of those in between.
Yeah.
But
See what people
I'm
answer.
more
See what.
interested in these ones.
Mhm.
These talks, these talking about the good old days.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and
But
just
okay, to contrast with the good old days, in 2 hours' time, I'm actually recording a podcast with Billy from the tricycle video. I don't know if you saw this. It's 3 Chinese riders doing
mm-mm.
urban unicycling, and I want to ask some questions about
Oh,
urban unicycling in
I
China.
did. I
We
want
have
to.
no idea what's happening, right?
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know if it's because like they can't do Facebook and stuff like that, but like, I want to know what's happening in Chinese unicycling more than like anything.
Yeah. Well, February 4th is going to come out.
Oh boy, I'm excited. So, well, you hear that, everyone? There's gonna be some multiple podcasts happening. That was February 4th. Yeah, you're gonna get Emile's podcast with this Chinese unicycles February 4th. You're gonna get an episode of mine right after that. I mean, who knows? Well, yeah. I think yeah, like you said, hour's good. Hour's good. I think what we can call it. This is good cock. And
All right.
remember, if you guys don't know, check out Emile's podcast. Go ahead and plug it. Plug it, Emile.
Unicycle news and stuff made by Renowned Series. If you don't know Renowned Series or Unicycle news and stuff, just type that in YouTube and you'll find everything you need to know.
Dang. Well, you want to share any Instagram, anything like that? You do any of that stuff?
No, my Instagram is just my personal Instagram, and I don't really post unicycle stuff there unless you really want to see me cook some good food.
I have been following all your food posts. I have also been personally cooking a lot during this pandemic, and I just love seeing your food stuff. I'm like, that looks good. Some people don't like
Thanks, man.
kimchi. I love it. I think it's
Oh, I
fantastic.
love kimchi. See, Unicon in Korea, world champs in Korea. Since then, I've been making my kimchi and eating kimchi almost every day.
See, guys, unicycling, it'll make you a better person, better
Yep.
chef, more cultured, all this stuff.
And a better digestive system.
Yeah. So check out these podcasts, guys. And if you haven't checked out Skirt with Colby Thomas, check out Skirt, SKRRT.io. And hey, if you're listening to this, be sure to donate to
Yeah.
Skirt. Colby needs all the help he can get, keeping that thing running. If you want more features, if you want more games, you got to help out. Like the whole unicycling world, you got to participate if you want to get something out of it. And then
Ooh.
my last little shout out, and hey, I would love any help on this if you want to give me some. I've been trying really hard and poorly to run social media for the Unicycling Society of America. So if you guys want to be featured on the Unicycling Society of America's social media, we need all the content we can get. It's social at uniusa.org. Send me photos, send me videos, send me clips, and we want to post it and just create more unicycle content. And of course, with all your organization guys, they need some help too. So if you want to help keep the Unicycling Society of America, which works in both Canada and North America, they have a donation page as well. So feel free to check that out. Other than that, hey, Emile, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I hope we get to talk more about stuff. I hope more crazy things keep happening in the unicycle world.
Indeed.
Well, till next time.
All right.
I'm gonna
Peace, man.
keep